So we've talked about execution contexts, execution environments, variable environments, lexical environments. And all of these things ultimately are defining what's called scope, especially when we talked about the scope chain, that outer reference that any running function has. So, big word alert. Scope is where a variable is available in your code. And sometimes it has to do if it's really even the same variable or a new copy. Like if you call the same function twice, it each gets its own execution context, and though it looks like the same variable, it's actually two different variables in memory. But in the end, we're understanding that all these things we've been talking about have helped us to understand something that a lot of developers find confusing. But because of diving under the hood of JavaScript and seeing how it deals with variables and functions, I hope you see how this helps us understand scope on a deeper level and in a way that it doesn't seem so odd or so strange or so difficult to anticipate. This again goes to my philosophy about learning code. Some people say that they learn code better by example. And again, examples are important, and we've looked at some already. But understanding how things really work makes you a better developer. It makes you a better coder. I stand by that philosophy because I've seen it work. I've seen it in production environments with large teams of coders. Those that learn how things really work under the hood solve problems better and are better coders overall in the end. All right, so we've talked about scope. I just want to mention one more thing. The next version of JavaScript, which is called ECMAScript 6, or sometimes ECMAScript 2015, or just ES6, is introducing a new way of declaring variables. It's called let. This is used, or can be used, instead of var. Although it's not replacing it, var will still be around. But let allows the JavaScript engine to use what's called block scoping. So you can declare a variable just like you would with var. And during the execution phase where it's created, that variable is still placed into memory and set to undefined. However, you're not allowed to use it until the line of code is run during the execution phase that actually declares the variable. So if you tried to use C in this example before the let C equal true, you'd get an error. Now it's still in memory, but the engine just won't allow it. The other important thing is that it's declared inside a block. Blocks are in general defined by curly braces, so inside an if statement or a for loop or something like that. When that variable is declared inside that block, it's only available inside that block at that period of time for the running code. This is true even for for loops. So if you have a loop and are running the same code over and over, but you have a let statement, you'll actually get a different variable in memory each time the loop is running. So this allows for what's called block scoping, as we mentioned, which others who are used to other programming languages may be familiar with. But again, you can use both let and var in ES6, and it's good to know and understand how both work. We'll talk about this more later in the course, but I just wanted to mention it now, that there are more options available in the next version of JavaScript for how you scope a variable.